right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SJP Files. This is episode 9 of the SJP Files show. Now, this week I was supposed to do a episode a week. I was going to try the 30 minutes, 35 minutes a day thing. After episode 8, I decided no. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick to the previous schedule. We're going to do 2 episodes per week on Tuesday and Thursday. Now, yesterday I had some things come up, so I didn't get a chance to record. So I'm recording today on Wednesday. This episode will go up either later tonight or early tomorrow morning. I haven't quite decided, but I'm trying to get back on a normal schedule. So yeah, I'm going to put this episode up today. Well, tonight, more probably likely. But today was supposed to be a normal episode. I was going to go through the NBA power rankings. I was going to go through the rookie. I was going to go through the rookie ladder on NBA.com. I was going to go through a couple of the games that happened over the past couple of days. The Knicks and the Hornets. Then I was going to go through Bucks and Magic, Phoenix, Washington, Miami, Philly, Denver, Brooklyn, LA, Houston, and the Warriors and the Pacers. Now, over the last hour, we just had a huge 4-team deal involving my favorite team, the team I root for, the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets have acquired James Harden from the Houston Rockets and a 4-team deal. This is a ridiculous deal. As Bleacher Report reports, the Nets get James. The 4 teams involved in this deal are the Nets, the Rockets, the Pacers, and the Cavs. The Nets got James Harden. The Rockets got the most out of this trade. They got Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Kurocs, who I don't know, 3 Brooklyn first rounders, a Milwaukee first rounder, and 4 pick swaps. The Pacers got Karis LeVert and a second rounder, and the Cavs got Jared Allen and Taurean Prince. This is a insane trade. I mean, Brooklyn kind of put everything out on the table, and with Kyrie on vacation or personal time or sick time or whatever the hell he's doing besides not being on the court for the Brooklyn Nets, this is a trade that you could very much see that both teams wanted and needed at the present moment, with no timetable of when Kyrie Irving's going to get his ass back on the court, and with James Harden just acting completely unprofessional in Houston, basically tanking the season, showing up out of shape. I mean, he wasn't really putting in the effort. And as a Nets fan, I said this earlier. I said this a couple episodes ago. I was not interested in this trade, but that was when KD and Kyrie were hooping. But the way it is right now, I mean, Kyrie, there's no timetable for Kyrie to come back. He's on a vision quest to God knows where. But this trade very much hurt the depth of the Brooklyn Nets, but it did give them a hell of a lot of star power. Kevin Durant is back to his old self. He hasn't missed a step. Kyrie Irving, when he's on the court, looks great. Looks like the best ball handler the game's ever seen. Excuse me. And James Harden's probably the best pure scorer. Well, he's definitely one of the best pure scorers the game's ever seen. But you have 3 incredible shot creators on this team and no real playmaker. That's not the word I'm looking for, because James Harden's more of a point guard than Kyrie is. But what I mean is you've got 3 of the best, shot creators in the game. For those of you who play 2K, you know what that means. For those of you who don't, a shot creator is basically a guy who can create, who's phenomenal at creating his own shot. Not only for himself, but others. I view a playmaker as someone who creates shots for others, while a shot creator is great at creating his own shot. And you've got three of the best shot creators in the league today, maybe three of the best ever to do it. But there's still only one ball. So with this trade going through, someone does have to take a step back. And the question is who's that's gonna be. Now, in my opinion, not even really my opinion, you could ask any basketball fan, I'll tell you this. The 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 order of operation on this team when it comes to these three guys, it's Durant 1, Harden 2, Kyrie 3. Durant's got the rings and the MVPs, the finals MVPs and the regular season MVP. James is one of the most prolific scorers the game's ever seen. And Kyrie is another great scorer. The difference is Kyrie can't stay healthy, and I really don't know what he's going through right now. But basically, the last week he hasn't played, and he's still not playing right now. I really don't know what's going through his head. But this is going to put championship level pressure on the Brooklyn Nets to is going to put them in position to, without question, be the most, dominant. I wouldn't say dominant. The team with the most expectations in the Eastern Conference are going to be the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to be the team that everyone expects to win the Eastern Conference and probably win the NBA championship because they've got their big three. And as much as I like Harden, I'm not overly fond of this trade. I'm really, really not. I thought the team was, had the depth, but the problem is you just lost the Nets basically just went all in on scoring. I mean, you lost your secondary big man in Jared Allen. You lost two productive guys off the bench, like Karis LeVert and Turian Prince. And I'm not sure how this team's. I'm not sure what we're doing here because I don't like this trade. I really don't. But this is a trade you kind of had to make because let's see, Jared Allen just got traded. Spencer Dinwiddie's hurt. And Turian Prince just got traded. Karis LeVert just got traded. You just lost three incredibly productive members off your bench. You basically just went all in on scoring. And the question is they're without question. I think they were the favorite in the Eastern Conference before this happened. But now they are without question the favorites in the Eastern Conference. They've been moved up to second in the championship favorite list behind the LA Lakers. I'll get to them momentarily. But the question is, how are these three guys going to mesh? And if it was just two of them, if Kyrie Irving was in on this trade, because to be honest, I'm kind of over Kyrie right now. I really am. I don't know what he's doing. I really don't. And frankly, I really don't care. I'm kind of over it. I'm over it. I'm over him. Whether he wants to play or he doesn't want to play is something that's beginning to irritate me. If you don't want to play, retire. If you do, cool. You're welcome back to the team. But him kind of disappearing without giving the coaching staff and basically the front office a heads up has left a very sour taste in my mouth. And I'm just kind of tired of dealing with him. I really am. I really wish he'd have been in this trade because if he would have, you probably could have kept Karis LeVert. You would have kept either Jared Allen or Karis LeVert. You would have kept one of those guys. So, I'm not ecstatic about this trade, but it is what it is. somebody had to go. Somebody very much had to go. And this is a phenomenal day for Nets fans. Majority of Nets fans. I've said it. I'll say it again. I'm not overly ecstatic about this trade, but you've got a group of guys who absolutely can win a championship. The question is, will they be able to win a championship? And and don't get me started. James Harden's behavior as of late has not left me overly enthusiastic about him either. I got my favorite team in the world, the Brooklyn Nets, with three guys. Your three star players are three people whose personalities irritate me to no end. Kyrie Irving's on a vision quest. Kevin Durant out here, was out here a couple years ago, with fake Twitter accounts and taking shots at players. I mean, it looks like he's kind of off that right now. Hopefully it stays that way. And James Harden, with him essentially attempting to destroy the Houston Rockets from within. I mean, they look terrible in Houston. It looked like he really wasn't putting any effort in. He was very much just trying to get out. You had Boogie Cousins calling him out. You had John Wall calling him out. And it's a shame for that coach that what's his name? Paul Silas's kid. God damn, I can't remember the kid's name. I can't remember the coach's name. He's not a kid. He's probably older than me. But still, it was a shame. It's hard for young black coaches to get a job in the NBA, to get a head coaching job in the NBA. And James Harden was acting like a little whining bitch, and it was very much starting to annoy me. And now we're dealing with a group of players that I'm not really sure how this thing wops out for all these other teams. Now, for the Cleveland Cavaliers, they just added another big man and a wing. They've got too many big men as is, so I don't know why the hell they added Jared Allen, and that seems like unless they were trying to get rid of Andre Drummond, who's putting up Andre Drummond numbers again, like 20 and like 15, or is it 18 and 16, something like that. He's putting up, Andre Drummond like numbers. Victor Oladipo going to Houston. I know he wanted out of Andre Drummond. Not Andre Drummond. Victor Oladipo very much wanted out of Indiana. I don't think he really wanted to be there in the first place. So he gets to go to Houston. Kind of get healthy, see what he's got left. The Houston Rockets make out like bandits in this one. 4 first-round picks, 4 pick swaps, 8 total picks from the Brooklyn Nets to get James Harden. Dante Exum, who's, Dante Exum, who the hell cares? And this kid, Kurax, I have no idea who he is, but, I really don't. I'm guessing I don't see him on the Brooklyn roster, so I'm guessing he's either from the Pacers or the Cavs in this trade. So the Pacers replace Victor with Karis LeVert. I also don't know if Karis wants to go to Indiana, but sorry, buddy. That's how the NBA works, and maybe he gets a real chance to be an all-star down there over there in Indiana. I know it's something that he's probably wanted. He definitely has the all-star level talent. So that's great for him. Hopefully that's something, he could do to oh, sorry. This just isn't working. And then they take him away from practice today. So you knew that they were and with sorry about that, my TV just went off. Anyway, with him with James Harden kind of just, on the podium last night, basically, on his soapbox saying, no, this team isn't good enough. We can't win. You had guys like Boogie Cousins calling them out, and John Wall saying, this team definitely is good enough. It's just that James isn't putting in the effort. And I don't know if John Wall said that. That's what I heard. I haven't had a chance to watch the interview yet. But James wanted out. He got out, made things incredibly uncomfortable for everybody. And after his comments last night, you kind of knew the trade had to be coming in the next couple of days. You know, Brooklyn got him before Philly did, so they didn't get the young star that they were looking for. They could have got it from Philly. I think they could have. I think they could have managed to pry, Ben Simmons away from Philly, especially with the way Philly's been playing as of late. I know they won last night, but still, but still, uh, and I'm still kind of shocked by this. This is a trade that I really wasn't. I was hoping wouldn't be made for all these damn whiners. In I don't have an issue with players requesting trades. I have an issue with players acting unprofessional while they're requesting trades. I mean, you see Deshaun Watson in Houston, he wants out. Everybody knows he wants out, but he's going to show up in shape. And as long as he's in Houston, he's going to keep playing. He's going to keep, putting in work. But you can obviously tell he wants out. And Harden, he wants out. Harden wanted out, and he made it known he wanted out, and then just continuously acted completely unprofessional between the partying. But now he's in New York, and I know New York's pretty well shut down, so nobody's going anywhere. So let's hoping that James is has played himself into shape, or he's going to be playing himself into shape because they're going to need him with Kyrie on his sabbatical. All right, that's enough about the Harden. Harden. What? That's enough about the Harden, trade to Brooklyn. Next, we're kind of gonna go. I'm gonna talk about the power rankings, the NBA power rankings. Next, for the week 4 power rankings, and we've got the LA Lakers once again at number 1 in the the week 4 power rankings. They started the week 8-3. They've been the power rankings for the last 4 weeks straight. This week they're playing Houston, OKC, New Orleans, and the Lakers look absolutely dominant in this game. This game took place last night. The score was 117-110, but don't let that fool you. This game was nowhere near that close. This game, the Lakers dominated this game from start to finish. They were up by as many as, I want to say, like 30 points in this game. They crushed them in the first quarter. Absolutely crushed them in the first quarter. And if memory serves, the first quarter score was 35-14, up by 21 by the end of the first quarter. By, end of the first half, the score was 71-48. Up by what? That's 22? 23, yeah, it's 23 points. And the Lakers LeBron essentially just didn't play. He played like 2 minutes in the fourth quarter at 20 points, while the Houston Rockets had like 29 points. Anthony Davis didn't play at all in the fourth quarter, and that's kind of when the Houston Rockets kind of went on a run, and they made this a respectable score. But in all seriousness, it wasn't. This game completely, this was a crushing defeat, and the second crushing defeat by the LA Lakers and the Houston Rockets. They're not in the same league. They're just not. And although a couple guys on this team had good games, John Wall challenging, Anthony Davis a couple times at the rim. I was happy to see that. DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie off the bench. He went 5 for 9, 2 for 4 from the field, 10 rebounds, 13 points. Good double night for him. it's great to see him getting healthier and healthier as the year goes on. Ben McLemore had a good night from three. He went 3 for 6. He had 11 points. Good for him. James Harden, like I said earlier, he just looks like he hasn't put in the effort. He only has 16 points on the season. I think on the season he's averaging 25, 5, and 10 at the beginning of the year when his first three. Those are great numbers for most guys, but those aren't James Harden numbers. James Harden only averaging 25 points. I mean, his first 3 games back, he was averaging like 34. And then he just fell off a cliff. He was tired. John Wall is still kind of getting back into a groove. Christian Wood looks absolutely great on this team. And with the, additions of Oladipo, Exum, I think this is good for them. This is definitely, get James Harden the hell out of there. Give this team a chance to really rebuild. Get some draft picks and grow up a bit. As for the Lakers looked great from start to finish. I didn't think their defense would be as good, but their defense was swarming in this game. You had 5 blocks from Anthony Davis, 2 blocks from Marcus Gasol, 2 from Montrezl Harrell. I mean, this team, they just look better. I mean, you had Montrezl Harrell gave you 14 off the bench. Kyle Kuzma gave you 11 and 11 off the bench, 11 points, 11 rebounds, both in under 30 minutes. I mean, Taylor Horton, THT had a bad shooting game. We only hit 1 for 8, 0 for 4 from 3, but had a couple of, dunks to tried a couple things in the dunk lane, didn't happen. KCP, another very good shooter night for him. Marcus Gasol made some great backdoor passes to LeBron and AD, and Dennis Schroeder cutting to the basket. It was great for them. Anthony Davis, 19 points, 10 rebounds. LeBron James, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. A LeBron stat line. LeBron doing LeBron things. On the year, he's averaging 24, 8, and 8. This is year 18 for him, and he's still the best player in the league on an incredibly deep team, and he only played 30 minutes. This is what's great for this team to get Anthony Davis and LeBron James to the playoffs healthy. You got nobody on this team who played 30 minutes tonight. Nobody. You had a couple guys who came close. LeBron James is about 80 seconds, saying about 50 seconds short of about 50 seconds short of a 30-minute game. But Anthony Davis played 28 and change. Marcus Gasol. This team is so deep that I find it hard for any team to really beat them, and that includes the Brooklyn Nets. The Lakers are my favorites to win the championship. They're still my favorites. As great as scorers as, KD and James Harden and Kyrie Irving are, there's still only one ball, and we still have no idea how these 3 guys are just going to mesh together. So that's the Lakers. After the Lakers, after the Lakers, we've got the Phoenix Suns, who moved up from number 4 last week. The 7-3 record going into the season. Going into this week, they had a 4-3 record, and I believe they're not 4-3 right now. I think they're 8 and. I lost the thought. Their first game against the Washington Wizards, they lost 120 to 107. So instead of 7-3, they're 7-4 right now. Just another great game from Devin Booker. 33 points. Paul George, he had 14 and 11. Another very good game from him. Dario Saric gave you 13 off the bench. Mikal Bridges gave you 14. And this was one of those nights where a good team loses to a team you really shouldn't be losing to. Bradley Beal, 34 points, and the Wizards suck right now. They just do. You got a team that's got a guy in Bradley Beal who's averaging 35 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists this year. I think he's going to request a trade sometime soon because it doesn't look like him and Russ really fit together. Um, but Danny Avdia gave you 6, 5, and 1. We'll talk about the rookies later. But this team is a very strange team. I don't know how I really feel about them. I thought when I was making my predictions or going through the Eastern and Western Conference at the start of this show, I thought that the initial addition of Russell Westbrook was going to make this team just soar into the playoff pictures. And as it is right now, they all suck. They're 3-8. They're like at the bottom of the Eastern Conference with Toronto, who's shocking. They're at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Detroit, not so shocking. Bulls, also not so shocking. Cleveland Cavaliers have come back down to earth. The Miami Heat are starting to play better, but Jimmy Butler didn't play last night. The New York Knicks look good. Never thought I'd say that. The Atlanta Hawks are about where I thought they might be. The Brooklyn Nets 6-6, not where I thought they'd be. I thought they'd be basically where the Celtics and the Sixers and the Bucks and Pacers. The Orlando Magic have definitely come back down to earth. They're 5-5 in their last 10, lost their last 3. Charlotte's won their last 4. They very much look like a playoff team. With Lonzo, I'll get to LaMelo shortly because he's one of those guys I really wanted to talk about today. But that's pretty much the Eastern Conference, standings. I was talking about the Phoenix Suns before I got sidetracked, but back to Phoenix. I said this earlier. This is just one of those games that every good team has. You lose. It's just one of those games in the middle of the week where you just get beat by a team you really shouldn't have lost to. That's just how it happens. It happens all the time. This is still a young team. They're still finding each other. They're still getting used to each other. And this was just a bad night for them. There's nothing much really to take away from this game. Now, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to get back to the power rankings. We're going to go to the number 3 team on the power rankings, the Boston Celtics. See you momentarily after a word from our sponsor.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to start a podcast. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
All right. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I took a moment, get some sponsorship, pay some bills. So we're going to get back to the NBA Power Rankings. Next on the list, the Boston Celtics. Boston has played pretty well without Kemba. They've won, 6 of their last 7 after a weird start for them. They've got Chicago, Orlando, and the Knicks this week. I think they already played Chicago. I think they played Chicago early in the week. Trying to find out who in the hell when was the last time? Trying to find their last game. But it doesn't matter right now because they didn't play last night, so it doesn't matter. They've had a couple of their games postponed due to COVID policy, the COVID policy. So they're kind of in a holding pattern over the last couple of days. They were supposed to play Orlando tonight. I believe it was supposed to be the first of their back-to-back against Orlando, and their game against Chicago got postponed. So although they look great, top 10 in offensive rating, top 15 in net rating, they look good. Jason Tatum looks good, as Jason Tatum generally does. He's very much one of the best young players in the game today. And although he looks good, and I'm trying to remember Jaylen Brown. Jesus Christ, I completely forgot Jaylen Brown's name. But Jaylen Brown looks great right now. He's definitely having a great year this year. I mean, in the 10 games he's played, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He just keeps getting better and better and better every single year. His stats just take a jump every single year, especially his scoring. Jason Tatum, he's averaging 27, 7, and 3. You got Marcus Smart, 12 and 6. Daniel Tice, Kemba Walker, like I said, hadn't played this year. Yeah, Robert Williams, Tremont Waters, Tristan Thompson, give you 8 and 9 every single night. Grant Williams balling out. So, Romeo Langford, who very much looks good. And so this team is a good team. I'm not very much expecting much because I think they need more to be a legitimate championship contender. They do have the best record in the Eastern Conference right now. I'm still not sold on them. Same way I'm not sold on the Philadelphia 76ers. Same way I'm not sold on the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not really sold on anybody in the Eastern Conference, not even my beloved Brooklyn Nets. Even with the additions of James Harden, I'm still not 100% sold on them, so we'll see. Next on the power rankings are the Milwaukee Bucks, who just bumped up from 7 to 4 in this week's power rankings. But they're 7 and 4 right now. Giannis, doing Giannis things as normal. 22 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists in his game against Orlando. Chris Middleton playing 20 and 10. Chris Middleton giving you 20 and 10 on the season. Middleton's averaging 23, 7 and 6. Giannis 27, 10 and 5. Typical Giannis numbers. He should be in the running for MVP this year. He might get some votes, but he's not winning this year. No chance in hell he's winning this year. And the Orlando Magic, man, they've been basically just ravaged by injuries this year, and it's a shame. It really is. Markelle Fultz, a guy who was very much into this year, having a great year himself. He just got hurt. He's going to be out for a little bit. So it really, really sucks. This is a team I was very much, kind of high on this year. Very, very high on. His injury update, as far as I know, is he's rehabbing, dealing with his injury. He's still on his grind, so I hope he gets back soon because I was really enjoying watching him this year. But that's pretty much all I got to say about the Milwaukee Bucks. The Philadelphia 76ers are at the 5th spot. They came down 2 spots. They're 1-1 this week. They just played a very thrilling game against the Miami Heat. The Heat only played, I think the Heat only played Yeah, he'd only played 8 guys because they had one guy out for injury, and then you had 3 guys, Bam Adebayo, Avery Bradley, and Jimmy Butler, all out for COVID protocols. Tyler Hero was, sensational this game. So was Duncan Robinson. They both very much picked up the slack. Gabe Vincent, who I don't know much about, but he came through. He had 24 points in this game. This game was pretty much neck and neck throughout the whole game. I mean, the 76ers started out hot in the first quarter. They were up by as many as, I want to say, 10 to 15 points. And then by the start of the second quarter, this game just kind of locked down while both teams were jostling for position the whole game. Tyler Hero was in his bag all game long, hitting step backs, attacking the rim. Duncan Robinson coming off screen after screen after screen, hitting 3-point after 3-pointer after 3-point. Had 2 4-point plays. And the Philadelphia 76ers themselves, Danny Green hit 9 3-pointers, took 21 3-pointers. 21 of his 25 shots, 3-pointers, went 9 for 21. That's still 42%, ladies and gentlemen. He had 29 points, 10 rebounds. Joel Embiid had 45 points, 16 rebounds. Tyrese Maxey played great today, has 16 points, 8 rebounds. And then Ben Simmons, 5 points, 12 rebounds. Ben Simmons, he only took 2 shots. Made both of them, only took 2, being Ben Simmons. And you had, a couple of guys not play for the 76ers also only played 8 guys. Dwight Howard, still really would have loved to see him still in LA, but I digress. Tyrese Maxey looks like he's progressing along nicely. Joel Embiid, he only took 3 3-pointers, missed all 3. Boo for him. But still, getting to the free throw line, 13 points. This is a Joel Embiid I was very much looking forward to seeing. This is the guy I wanted to see. This is the guy I want to see, attacking the rim, hitting mid-range jump shots, take an occasional 3, take 2, maybe 3 threes a game. I don't want to see him taking 5, 6, 7 threes a game. I don't want to see him like 4 for 12 like Mike Scott was. I don't want that. I want him at the rim, banging, moving that big body around and dominating at the rim. And that's what he was doing tonight. And he looked great doing it. Precious Achiuwa, 17 points, 13 rebounds, him getting Bam Adebayo minutes. This team, they're not overly healthy right now. And with the COVID protocols in effect, Bam Adebayo, Avery Bradley, Jimmy Butler, like I said, all missed this game. Yeah, Miles Leonard, didn't play due to injury. And he didn't dress due to injury. So, it was a very good, very, it was a great game to watch. And I was very ecstatic for it. Next, we got the LA Clippers at the 6th spot. We all know how I feel about the Clippers. They went down from 3 all the way down to 6. Well, don't really want to talk about them. No interest in talking about the Clippers. Indiana Pacers up to 7 from 8. You had the Dallas Mavericks at 8, up from 14. You had the Denver Nuggets, who are up to 9 from 12. The Golden State Warriors up from 20 to 10. The Utah Jazz were at 5, who dropped from 5th on the rankings to 11 this week. The Miami Heat jumped from 15 to 12th place. The Brooklyn Nets jumped from 17 to 13. The Portland Trailblazers jumped from 16 to 14. The Charlotte Hornets jumped from 26 to 15. Well-deserved by them. Stop on the Charlotte Hornets right here. This is a team I absolutely love. I love this team. They're great. They are an incredibly gifted play. This is a playoff team. I know LaMelo Ball did not shoot well this game. He went 3 for 13. He's going to have those nights. Went 2 for 6 from 3, which is good. Gave you 14 rebounds, 7 assists. He does the little things. He had 3 steals and a block. He does the little things especially when he's not shooting well. He does the little things that make it worth. He does like the little winning things. Gordon Hayward having having a comeback year right now. He's averaging 23, 5, and 4. Usage isn't what it was in Utah his last year there, but he's still putting up points. Looks like Devontae Graham has finally gotten his shot working again. Not hitting much from 3, but 7 from 15 for the field. Terry Rozier, 4 for 8. He only had 12 points this game, even though he's averaging, 20 for the season. Come down significantly. But Devontae Graham is probably the guy. Now, this game isn't really an indicator, but I would move LaMelo into the starting lineup as your starting point guard. Move Devontae Graham to the bench where he would be the primary ball handler, coming in on the second unit, leading that second unit. I think that would be what's best for both him and Melo, because Melo needs to be in the starting lineup, kind of doing his thing. Because right now he's just playing better overall in this game. It's not an indicator, but he's just playing better than Devontae Graham this whole season. Now, after that lovely diatribe I just went through, I'll get more onto LaMelo Ball once I go through the rookie ladder. The New Orleans Pelicans drop from 9 to 16. The San Antonio Spurs move up to 17 from 27. The Orlando Magic drop from 13 to 18. Injuries. The Cleveland Cavaliers have fallen back to earth and having some injuries. So they went to 19. The Oklahoma City Thunder are at 20. The Knicks are at 21. Atlanta Hawks at 22. Houston Rockets at 23. The Raptors at 24. The Grizzlies at 25. The Bulls at 26. 27's the Sacramento Kings. 28 the Detroit Pistons. 29 the Washington Wizards. And the worst team in the league, the Minnesota Timberwolves, at 30. Last week at 30. This week at 30. Need I say more? Now let's go to the rookie stats. After the first 3 weeks of this year, the rookie ladder, at the top of the rookie ladder is LaMelo Ball, averaging 12.5 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. He looks exactly like a lot what some people thought he might look like, and especially he looks like the player we all thought Lonzo would be when he first started in this year. His rookie year looks very much like this one. Looks very much like this one should have been. LaMelo, the youngest player to post a triple-double in NBA history with 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists against Atlanta last week. He's 6'8". He's the best. He's the best rebounder at his position, maybe in the NBA. Routinely grabbing multiple. He has multiple double-digit rebound games at 6'8". Leads the team in efficiency at 19.5. He's the guy. I very much think he needs to be moved up into the starting lineup. I've already said this before. I'll say it again. I'll keep saying it. He needs to be in the starting lineup. Sorry, Devontae, but you ain't having that type of year. James Wiseman, another guy who has played well over the last couple games with the Golden State Warriors. I was a little shocked by this. I'm not shocked at his position. He's averaging 11 points, 6 rebounds, 1.5 blocks. But I was surprised that he was as good as he was when I first saw him play against Brooklyn. He looks like a baller. He looks like a hooper, and I'm very, very, very much looking forward to see how he matures in that Golden State Warrior system. Next on the list is Tyrese Halliburton. A lot of people had Halliburton as one of the steals in this draft, and the guy still went in the teens. He should have won in the early range of the draft. Definitely should have went in the top 10. He didn't make it into the top 10. I don't know why, but 12 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. He looks better. He looks better. He's hitting 50% from the arc, 6'5". He's one of the best young defenders in the league. Looks great. And at number 4, you got the number 1 overall pick, Anthony Edwards, averaging 13, 2 and 2, averaging 13, 3 and 2. I think he leads all rookies in scoring, but his first couple games were atrocious. So it's I'm trying the word I'm looking for. It's not so strange to see him on this list. He's been playing better as of late, but his team sucks, so no one's really talking about them. And then you kind of got a surprise in Patrick Williams in Chicago. 10 points, 3.5 rebounds, coming off the bench at Florida State, which is weird. But he started every game as a pro. And, he was the number 4 overall pick. I was a little suspect. I thought this was suspect, definitely, when he got drafted at the 4. But, I don't really know much about him. All I know is he's been playing very well in Chicago. The next 5 are Tyrese Maxey, Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard, big, he's making some waves in Boston. Good on him for that. They found him at the 26th pick. You got Denny Avdia in the Wizards, Cole Anthony in Orlando, and Sadiq Bey in Detroit. After that, we got Denver. Next, back to the games. We got Denver and Brooklyn. Brooklyn wins 122-116. Once again, no Kyrie Irving. Kevin Durant, 34 points, 13 assists, 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. And then you got Karis LeVert, who is sadly gone from the Brooklyn Nets team. Karis, 20 points. You had TLC at 11 points. Joe Harris had 15 points. And Bruce Brown, starting at this point guard spot, has 16 points. And as for the Denver Nuggets, Bol starting. Wow. Man, Bol actually starting this game. I didn't watch this game. I'm just in the box score. Jamal Murray, 20 points. Will Barton, 22 points. And Nikola Jokic, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 rebounds, shy of a triple-double himself. Denver Nuggets, Brooklyn Nets, everybody looks great. I'm happy for it. I think the Denver Nuggets are still kind of, adjusting to the team, still adjusting themselves. And Mike Porter Jr. didn't play this game. So you got the Brooklyn Nets, who are just about to get essentially an entirely new roster. So we'll see how it goes for them. Indiana Golden State, I was watching a bit of this game. I didn't catch to see the whole game. I watched till about halftime. And the Indiana Pacers won 104-95. It was a pretty close game most of the game. And then late, the Indiana Pacers pulled away and won this game. Miles Turner, 22 points, 12 rebounds. Domantas Sabonis, 18 points, 14 rebounds. This team's about to add Karis LeVert, and probably Edmund Sumner is probably the guy who's going to go to the bench, and Karis LeVert's probably going to move up to that spot. Yeah, Aaron Holiday, another one of the Holiday brothers. Aaron and Justin both on this team. Aaron Holiday, 16 points, 12 assists off the bench. Great for him. Andrew Wiggins had a great game. Well, he had an Andrew Wiggins type game, one of those games that make you look like, wow, he's so talented. And then you realize he's going to give you one of those games like every 2 weeks or so, and the rest of the game is going to be all right. Steph Curry has kind of, 20 points, kind of come back down to earth. Kelly Oubre Jr., a good shooting night for him. It looks like Kelly Oubre is starting to find his stroke again, but that's really all there is to say about that. And once again, the Brooklyn Nets adding James Harden, Blockbuster 4-team deal. I don't know how they're going to work together. We'll see. but I really don't know how we're going to. We also have an early season MVP ladder. LeBron, no shock, at the top of the list. Finally having a chance to win his 5th MVP this year. Jesus Christ. He should have had it a long time ago. But you know how it works. People get tired of voting for guys sometimes. Same thing happened with Jordan. Luka Doncic averaging 28, 9, 8, 1 steal a game. His number is actually slightly better than LeBron's, but LeBron's on a better team, and LeBron's older. So much older that his age is a factor, as goddamn, he's so good, maybe he should win it. We have Paul George at number 3. That's funny. Joel Embiid at number 4. You got Steph Curry at number 5 after that 62-point game. But that's it for this week's second episode. I'm going to put up episode 9 probably. Today is episode 9. Sorry. I'm going to put up episode 10. Probably going to do episode 10 tomorrow. Or I'm going to do it Friday. I haven't quite figured it out yet. Probably on Friday. Give, some news, a little time to bubble up in the NBA before I get back on here. But thank you guys for listening to episode 9. I can't wait to do an episode 10 for you guys. So we'll see what happens the next couple of days. This episode's probably going to go up on Friday. This episode's going up tonight. Have a good night, guys.